This is Elizabeth with Peachy Kitten Studios and Sprinkles. So I'm a minute late. I couldn't remember how to go live. I'll be completely honest with you. So and now I'm getting this all set up while we wait for some people to join. Um, okay, great. Okay, hi. So today we are going to be doing our cinnamon roll photo shoot. Can you hear me okay? If someone could tell me. I'm using my AirPods since I'm going to be running around, and I want to make sure that you can hear me. Um, okay, no one's commenting. I'm going to hope you can hear me. Um, so yeah, today we're going to be doing our Oreo Cinnamon Rolls, and let me show you what we're working with here. So, I have these babies right here. They look so good. They smell so good. I cannot wait to eat them afterwards. So yeah, let's get started. So today, it said no plan, but you do have to have somewhat of a plan. And I decided that we're going to do a dark photo shoot. So you can either go, in my mind, I either choose, I'm going to go really light and airy, super bright, see everything, or I'm going to go like dark, dramatic, you know, whatever. I really like the dark photos. I love shooting them because every time I take a dark photo, it instantly stops the feed. Um, but they're super tricky to set up. And a lot of times, if you don't have practice with them, it doesn't turn out right. And I definitely have had a lot of practice of just trying to figure it out. So today we're going to we're going to do it together. So I'm going to show you what I do, how I do it, what props I'm going to pick out for these cinnamon rolls. And then at the end, I'll do the picture of me pouring the glaze over them. That's going to be really exciting. So first things first is I set up our there it is. Okay. Our little stand that we're going to use, and it's right here. So this is, as you can see, right next to my giant sliding glass door. I'm actually going to close it because the wind is making these all billowy. So this is my giant, I have two sliding glass doors, let in all this natural light that we're actually going to take away using a bunch of foam core. Yeah, so first thing we need is our backdrop and our prop. So we are gonna go on a field trip. And I'm, okay, this is not gonna work. I'm just gonna take it off the stand. I was trying to carry the stand downstairs to where I have my prop closet, but that thing's pretty big, so we will not be carrying it. Okay, so here we are. Into the prop closet. So if you tuned into my live on Tuesday, you got a immersive tour of everything in here, what I love, what I hate, why I do what I do. So if you're interested in that, it's in the past events. You can find it. Don't mind my cats, by the way. They're going to be everywhere. Don't mind them. So first, I know I'm going to do dark. So I am going to grab my black backdrop, and I'm actually going to give you guys like I'm just going to, don't fall over, don't fall over. Okay. So I'm going to grab this off, and we'll be taking you. Okay. I have the rest of the backdrops I'm going to use upstairs because I'm going to be using black tiles I got from Home Depot. And because I only have one black backdrop. So I use the tiles, which is what I started off with. They're $3 from Home Depot. I love them. That's gonna be the other ones. So we have our backdrop. Um, Oreo Cinnamon Rolls. We're gonna go black and white. No fun colors, no whatever, It's when I'm doing dark photo shoots, the primary color I'm gonna work with is black, but then I can add in, if I'm doing, like I did my St. Patrick's Day macarons, it was black and green. So with that, I did, I chose in like my green backdrop. I was able to put in like maybe a green plate, a green jar. This is gonna be black and white. I'm not adding in pink for fun, maybe. But no. So I'm gonna go through and kind of see what black props we have to work with. So starting off fresh, I'm gonna need something to put those cinnamon rolls on, right? I'm gonna leave them in their pan, but there's gonna be a couple plates I want to take out to showcase it. So, black plate. You can't. I don't quite actually know, but we're gonna put this over here. Don't mind that mess. So we're gonna grab just out like the black plates. I'm not. Okay, so we have our black plates there. You know what? I'm sorry. This is gonna be a little of them because I thought I'd be able to carry that thing downstairs. Up next, this is my favorite little tool. This is what I pour sauces on and stuff. So we'll be taking this, buddy. And then my favorite, I just got these. I used them, and they work great. Black cups, because when you're shooting dark and you have just clear cups, it throws off the picture because it is bright. Glasses. It's almost like it's in the white category. But by getting these from Target, it kind of helped show the liquids, add dimension, add this elegance into it without distracting the photo. So I might not use the tall one. The tall one I don't use tall props much, but I might need it. So I'm gonna take both of them. Add this to my pile. Next up, I'm thinking I see this bowl, and I don't often use bowls, but it might be fun to put a single cinnamon roll in a bowl and see how it goes. So I guess we'll try it, right? We'll add it to our pile. When I'm doing these photo shoots, I do take like half of this closet upstairs. And it's because I have to carry, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, and I will need some cloth. So I'm gonna grab my plain black cloth. And then this is a black and white photo shoot, so I am gonna grab this. As I will show you, I'm gonna be using the white in this very minimally. I don't want the cloth to I don't want it to take away from the cinnamon rolls. I don't want it to be competing because it is white, and white will instantly draw your eye. So it's probably going to be showing like literally like a little corner of it, but it will be good to add some dimension to the photo. I do have some other black and white cloths in here, but since this one does have, it's like a dark gray, and it's very mixed with the two. This is the one I'm going to use with my black. So I have plates, I have cups, I have cloths. I don't think I need much else, actually. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty good. I do have upstairs a jar I got. So if you were in my tour on Tuesday, I talked about my bokeh box, which is what I put. I put objects in the background just to add like an extra layer of dimension into it, but you don't really get to see what they are. And the point of it is that you don't know, you don't care. It adds this just dimension to the picture. So I got this all black vase. I think it's actually supposed to be a planter, and I got it from Joann Fabrics this past week, and it's already upstairs. So we'll do that. I do have a couple things upstairs actually, because I used them yesterday, and I was like, well, there's no point in bringing them back down. So they live there. So now you get to watch me try to carry this upstairs. I am by no means some sort of YouTube. I feel like maybe I'm people on YouTube know what they're doing better. Not me. I'm actually just gonna put you in this cup. Oh, this is a great angle. Okay. I'm walking upstairs. So as I set this up, please feel free to comment questions. If you're watching the replay, I'm pretty sure if you comment during the replay, I still get to see it. Like, it gives me a little notification. So definitely comment any questions you have, and I'll explain them. Because I've been doing this for a while. It is second nature for me to do this, and so sometimes I forget that, like, you don't know what a bounce board would be, and I'm here to teach you. So please ask. So now what I'm going to do is set up my little thing. As you can see here, this is actually my daughter's table, but it's perfect. It's the perfect size because a lot of times I'm shooting sideways. I don't do very many flat lays. And when I do, it's also a nice size because I don't have to be on the ground, but I'm not standing on top of my kitchen table. So it's about 2 feet tall. It's nice. Your surface it doesn't make a big difference. I am going to lay these down. These are my, sorry, I was trying to think about the layout. These are my $3 tiles from Home Depot. They might have been $2, whatever. They're not expensive. So I'll just kind of put these right in the middle here. And then, I forgot our backdrop. Okay, guys, we're going on another field trip. And I am going to try to get this done, wrapped up by 2:30. A lot of times when I do photo shoots, I'll do it for 2 hours. So I usually start at 12:30, goes to 2:30, clean the kitchen up for another hour. Like, when I do photo shoots, it is a half-day event. By no means quick. So, but I'm going to try making this quick. And just showing you the basics. Okay. I will also like to say that when I do this, I do not serve this food to people. That is a nice foray. So I have some, I don't know what it is. Buttercream chocolate. I used this yesterday, so it's left over. But I don't serve this food to people. It is product photography. So this is what I use for my samples. It's what I use for my website. I didn't get a chance to explain, but I am the owner of Peachy Kitten Studios, which is a product photography website for home bakers. And what we do is pretty much if you wanted to have a pre-sale of fudge brownies or whatever, you buy our brownies and or you buy the photos from us. And that way, like, you have royalty-free use to sell them as, advertise them on your website saying, hey, get our fudge brownies. So that's actually what these are going to be for today. These are going to be on our website probably tomorrow. We haven't officially launched yet. I keep trying to, but then my home bakery keeps just getting busier and busier, which is good. But I'm really excited to start this for people. I had a point to that, but so okay. I have this backdrop. What is you can see is I tucked this under here. This is, I don't know the name of it. Maybe, I think it's called a tea stand. I got it on Amazon. It was maybe between $20 and $40. It was like to me for something, it's a pole and 2 clips. I thought it was outrageously priced, but it is a lifesaver when I'm doing these photos. And I just lightly tucked the backdrop underneath this. We're going to pull it out a bit actually, so it's a little more. But yeah, so this backdrop is from Poppy Bee Surfaces. I am a new convert. I absolutely love them. Okay, so before we set up our scene, I am going to actually, we'll keep setting it up, and then we're going to make the glaze for the cinnamon rolls. I didn't make the glaze beforehand. I did pre-measure the sugar, but glaze, it's gonna dry up and crust up and whatever. Okay. So that's something that I want to have fresh. Um, so we'll make that in a second. It'll take 2 seconds to make. So setting our scene here, I guess the first thing I want to do before I figure out the lighting, it's going to be dark. I'm going to be closing the shades. I'm going to be setting up these foam boards and just really isolating it so I can, like I said, this is not for people to eat. So don't mind my cats. Um, so, I'm just going to try to think about what we're going to do. And really, I know a lot of, like, I follow other photographers on Instagram, and they show, like, their sketches, and they're like, this is what I'm going to do, and then they do it. No, there's no way I am that organized to do that first. I just kind of look at it, and I'm like, that looks nice. So we have our props here. I have them all on the table. I'm just going to kind of lay them out first, and, like, let's see what happens. So here I do have this a little bit off-centered. I'm probably gonna do a flat. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a flat lay first, actually. So I don't need this too much because I don't know. I just think these might be nice with flat lay. It's kind of hard to see inside of it, and I was originally going to tether my camera to my laptop so you guys could have like a live view of what was going on inside my camera. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't have tethering. Tethering is when you connect with like I believe a USB or a special cable, and it's a live stream. And you hook it up to a program, but only kind of the more expensive cameras have it. My camera, it's cheap. It was like $500, which is on the low end for the DSLRs, and so it doesn't have tethering. I didn't buy it for my business. I actually bought it because I wanted to take really nice photos of my newborn when she was a newborn 2 years ago. Um, but as I started to get more into food photography, I just, that's my camera. So now I have a nice excuse to buy a new camera, which I probably won't soon, but I do have an excuse. So right now I'm just laying things out, kind of just seeing like what's gonna work. I always, for me, as my personal preference, maybe it's because I'm right-handed, I don't know, but I always put a rag like this on the right-hand side. There's no, I can't tell you why I do it, but I do it. So I naturally put my rag here. I have it tucked underneath because this is gonna be a flat lay. I guess I am gonna kind of zhuzh it up a little bit so it looks natural. But the way I am zhuzhing it, I suppose, is that like you could see. Oh my god, what am I? This was stupid. I'm so sorry. I need to quit trying to pick up this mount. It looks easy. It's heavy. Okay, so I am trying to like zhuzh it up a bit, and by creating like a little gap right here, because if I have it right up against there, it looks weird. So I am naturally gonna just create almost as if I'm guiding the eye more towards the cinna-rolls. And it's a cloth, like it's not going to do exactly what I want to, and it shouldn't. But it does. There you go. So I am going to do that so it has like a nice little frame. So as a flat lay, this is kind of what we're working with right now. Because this is two different tiles, there's this. I will get rid of this line in post-processing. I do every single time. It is really easy to get rid of that line. It's probably the easiest thing I could do when I edit because you just kind of take the Band-Aid tool and you just like across the line and it picks different places. So I'm going to get rid of that line post processing. It will drive me crazy. So if it's driving you crazy as I'm setting this up, solidarity. So just pretend it doesn't exist though. So this is our flat line, our flat lay. It's looking pretty good. I will see. So I've noticed I have a plate right here and I have a cup here. And what this is doing is it's still showing you that this is the focus, but it is creating a scene on the outskirts. Same with this plate right here. Although I don't know if I'm too happy about this. It's creating like a reflection I don't love. But as I'm noticing here, I need something right here. There is a good purpose to blank space. And, you know, you shouldn't fill up the entire thing with objects, but you also shouldn't, if you want it bare, actually. I would say if you don't quite know how to work with your props, it is better to leave it bare because you're not taking away from the object. But so this is part of my bokeh thing that I got. It's a planter. My receipt's still inside from Jerome Fabrics. But it's just going to create like a nice color block of dark. So as you can see here already, this is what we're looking at. This is really tall. Maybe I'll do that. I don't love this. We're going to keep playing around with that corner and see what we could do. Oh, I do have my trusty milk jar. And while I don't like using clear glass, this thing, it just has the embodiment of a jar of milk. You know, it gives you that vibe. So I might use it. I might not. I will be filling up that cup with milk. I will be putting cinnamon rolls on the other plate. So right now I'm just setting up the scene. We're taking it easy. It's no big deal. That corner, we're going to deem that corner no big deal. Okay. I'm actually not going to put anything in that corner until I fully understand my setup more and get things more prepared. So walking over here, we're going to go into my fridge, grab out some milk, and I'm going to put milk in the cup. So my favorite thing to do is, I'm going to put you guys back on my stand. So my favorite thing to do is to fill up the milk by just going like this. Right? I just put a little bit, whatever milk. I actually never have real milk. I only have almond milk in my house. But I'm about to make a banana cake later, and I needed real milk. So as you see, I just filled it up with water. Who knows? No one's drinking it. I guess this would probably be like skim milk, actually. Um, Sorry, I was just putting that back. So I have that for my milk. Next is the glaze, right? Oh, you know, I actually forgot to tell you. When I'm making cinnamon rolls, for my last photo shoot, it worked out really well, and it was actually a happy accident. Like I didn't have, I made them like too thin when I cut them, so I had extras that didn't fit in the pan, and so I had I had a couple extras, and I baked them off to the side, and it created a really beautiful photo because I was not messing up the pan. Like I still had a very full pan for my flat lay photo, but you still create the scene by having like cinnamon rolls out on the plate. So I did that this time. Unfortunately, I just cut them too well, and I can only get one extra one. So I just kind of baked it in this little ramekin. I mean, I'll be honest, this thing was not happy to be baked in the ramekin. It's hard. It's unhappy, but who cares? No one's eating it. It's it's for my photo. So I am gonna go put it back on the plate. I'm gonna mix the glaze, and then we're gonna get started with actually taking a photo. And this whole process is exactly why it does take me like 2 hours to shoot because the entire time it's not just taking a picture and walking away. It's picking out your props, setting up the scene, doing the little things, that makes it look like a good photo, but it doesn't take 2 seconds to do. And sometimes it does take 2 seconds, and it turns out really well. Not this time. So I'm just gonna make the glaze. It's between 2 and 4 tablespoons of milk, but I doubled the glaze. So when I'm shooting, I try to make double sauces, double glazes, double ganache, whatever I'm doing, I try to make double of because I have found that there's times where I'm like, I wish I had more glaze because I'm doing a pouring shot and whatever. You just wish more. So I instantly, I just double whatever sauce I'm going to be working with. So I have more. And at the end of the day, like, if I have extra glaze left over, I guess I'm just going to have to pour it on my cinnamon rolls, So this is really boring, and I'm sorry I have to make you guys watch me do this, but I just did not want to. I wanted it to be still, like, fresh, and I want to be really fresh when I'm taking photos because it's how it's going to turn out pretty. But I am almost done with this. Um, this is just going to be Oreo glaze. The recipe I used for this, a lot of the recipes on Peachy Kitten, either I make them, they're just my original recipes, or I adapted them. And I do, tell you the adaptation, and I do point out like what is different, what did I do differently, what did I find works better for me on the recipes. Make that, okay, yeah, it's pretty good. And then I'm just going to add in some Oreos. But this recipe I did not adapt. It is 100% shell sweets, Oreo cinnamon rolls. This is not her glaze though. I'm just making a glaze. I'm not like she had like butter in her glaze, and it looks cool. But this is what I know works well for photographs. So as you can see, I'm making it really liquidy because I'm gonna want it to be. I want it more liquidy than maybe I would serve it because I want it to fill every single crevice. When I'm pouring it, I'm going to want it to be pory. I don't know how to describe it. So it's a little bit more liquidy. It also does thicken over time, just being whatever a glaze is. So I will go back before I probably do the final pour shot, and I will heat it up on the stove, and I will probably add some more water. But for right now, this is good. This is what we need. So last thing I need to do is grab my camera, which is here. And it's so funny. I spent half the night worrying about doing this live because it's nerve-wracking on doing these sort of things. And I spent so much time thinking about like what's gonna go wrong. I forgot to charge my camera battery, but it was pretty much charged, and we're at full battery now. So I did put in my camera battery, and we're gonna put you there. And now we're gonna work on setting up our scene and doing our thing. So first thing I'm gonna do is, even though I am saying I'm going to be building myself around these foam cores, I'm gonna set up my camera. Because once I start setting up these foam cores, it's going to be kind of hard to squeeze my camera in and out. So we're just going to set up our tripod first. So first thing I do, I'm going to lower these all the way because this is going on my table. And some people, people who have better equipment than me, they have these things called C-arms. I think probably control arms it stands for. And what it does is it's just a giant, it's your tripod, but it's further away. So you don't have to have this like awkward table stand up. But in a way, I'm happy I don't have one and I'm not showing it because I do want to show you guys how to shoot photography out of your house, like without fancy equipment, other than the fanciest equipment I have is my DSLR, that's really the biggest one. The rest of this, I want everyone else to be able to do. So, I'm going to do this. So what I like to do is when I am doing these flat lays, I have, and I will come to show you guys in 1 second after I set up. I said on my Tuesday live, I hate this tripod, by the way, because I feel like I spend more time fighting with this tripod than I do shooting photos, and it's true, and you're going to watch this happen live. Because it just, I don't know, this thing just doesn't want to listen to me. Maybe it probably is me. Okay, so, and this is the issue, and this is why it would be nicer to be shooting on the floor. Sometimes I do move to the floor, but I'm no spring chicken. Okay, so as you can see, my camera's even just moving on its side. But I do want to show you what my camera's seeing, so you can kind of get the idea of what this photo is going to look like. There's a lot of different ways I could do the first shoot. You're not going to have it go really far out, so you see the whole picture. My camera just naturally, the way I set it up, looks like, hold on, I'll give it a second to focus. Oh, come on. There you go. So I hope this looks okay for you guys. This is just what it looks like naturally, and I really like it. I like the composition of this. So we're gonna keep it like this, you know, and I'm gonna kind of try to explain. So right now I'm going to get my camera to stay still for 1 second, and then I'm gonna kind of work more on, because this is just not, it's moving constantly. That's the issue with this stupid, I'm not even gonna recommend this tripod ever to anyone, because it's just moving. I'm gonna have to hold it still, which is typical. Um, but the typical when I'm shooting. So this way, as you can see, what's working here is that we do have in the right hand side the bulk of our picture. You know, you can see the focus of it. I chose a white bowl. I chose a circular bowl because that way it's mimicking the cinnamon rolls, but it's also creating a really nice contrast to the cinnamon rolls. Working also, as you can see, in each corner, like in this corner and in this corner, we do have the plates peaking. Once again, they're circular, so they are mimicking the cinnamon rolls. You know, they're creating a symmetry to it, but they're also working with triangles, and just kind of like having these little peak triangles is really aesthetic. And as you can see, we have our cloth right there, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry, I can't get this. But this is one of the reasons why I actually said I'm not even going to worry about that corner right now, because in this moment you can't see the corner. So, starting off, I am just going to take the photo and see what it looks like. I have to adjust my camera settings. I'm going to have to readjust them again when I make it dark. But for right now, I like to just, you know, start simple and kind of make it work. So here, sorry, whenever I switch it, the thing turns the flash on. So we'll just see. And that picture, it turned out actually pretty nice, but it's a little bit brighter than I want. So this is going to be the super awkward part of this thing, in which the bulk of it is I want to show you how to set up these photos. Me adjusting my camera, I'll tell you what I'm doing, but it's going to matter what you're doing in the moment. Like right now I'm on 100 f-stop 2.8, and you know, the lighting, the lens, I posted a thing in the main group talking about how crazy different having a lens, like my one lens, I have to the lens makes a difference. So my settings aren't going to mean much in your photography. That's you and your DSLR and your lens type. But I can show you how to correctly set up a photo. So I'm just going to be playing with my settings here and just kind of making it darker and seeing, yeah, okay, I like that. So now I'm going to get rid of the lights, the super fun part. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is these I have here because I use them as a diffuser. You know, cheap diffuser, $5 or $10 on Amazon or Target. I don't know where I got them. So whenever I just do need to kind of take away that harsh sunlight, that's what I use. And then these are just like cheap Amazon curtains. And I'm just going to play with the curtains here, and then I'll show you why that makes a difference in my picture. So what I'm really trying to do is get the light, and I can show you this way. You can, okay. As you can see, like my curtains are mainly closed. And there's just like this little sliver open and it's diffused. It is diffused because we have a double curtain rod that has not been hung up yet. So no matter what, it's going to be like this. But I would probably have them there anyways because I don't want harsh light right now. I'm just not a harsh light person. I feel like there's enough shadows. I'm trying to get rid of my light. I don't want more harsh light. So I have this. I have a single stream of light that's really almost just focusing on this. And now I'm going to get my foam board. This is where I start looking kind of like a crazy person in my setup. And I might have to have a chair pulled over. The issue with using foam boards is that it's hard to like keep them straight. It's hard to do anything. So I do use chairs. A lot of times I will be using like my high chair. That thing is an excellent. It's excellent to prop the things up. But so what this is doing, this is doing two major things right now. One, it's stopping the light. So it's almost so the light hits this and bounces back a darker shadow. Instead of brightening up the photo, like if I was using white, it would reflect it and brighten it up. But instead, it's doing the opposite. It's almost creating like a neutralizing effect, kind of darkening it. The second thing I really like is that it's blocking out the light from my windows over there. I got a whole bunch of windows in my house. So it's blocking out the extra light. It's creating a stopping point for the light. And it's just overall going to be making for a moodier photo, which is exactly what I want here. But I'm not going to stop at this one. And, it doesn't have to be the closest because I have this. And this is, I got this off Amazon, but you can make the same exact thing out of foam board from the Dollar Tree. And it's just like, I'm going to be able to move this closer to be able to eliminate the shadows where I really want them to be eliminated or just darken an area. And then lastly, I do have one more piece, and sometimes I'll put it like this. Okay, so as you can see, this is my current setup. Actually, this one's not so bad. Sometimes when I do it, it might get that bad though. Sometimes when I do it, it's literally like I have to crawl into it to get to there, which is why I set up my camera first and set up my scene first and do the lighting last, because I'm gonna just keep playing with the lighting to get what I want. And that's the key really to these edgy photos. So going here, so we're gonna try taking another photo. Sorry, it's not focusing. You see that's it's still brighter than I want it to be, but it is less bright. It's hard to tell through the Facebook phone, I'll be honest with you. But it did create less shadows. I'm gonna keep trying to do this, show you like what I'm doing. I can't apologize enough how much I do want to show you what each little difference is making, because I'll try to explain it. But without my camera being tethered, it's gonna be hard. But that's really nice is that you get to see the final photo when I edit it and post it everywhere. So you do get to see how they turn out, which is nice. So I know what's missing here. The glaze. Huh. That's important. I spent so much time making it. So here I have my Oreo glaze. Right, cinnamon rolls. They look good when they're covered in glaze. So just kind of put this lightly over the top. Like at this point, I'm not trying to smother them. I'm just trying to put it lightly and then kind of smear it into the little cracks so you can see all the little areas of definition in them. And we're going to put a little bit on this plate here, and I'll show you what a difference that makes. The other thing is that when I do this, I get like covered in food. Like my hand got hit, this got hit. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like, and maybe that's and this is what it looks like from my phone. This is what it looks like from my hair. So it does look a little more cinnamon rolly. But the issue I'm still having is that this is still a little bit too bright for me. So what I'm going to try doing is just closing the shades and just seeing if we can't, or what point does this get blacked out? Like right there. Okay. So, okay. So that's good. That's kind of creating like a better highlight just on right here. And it's funny because if you look at how incredibly dark this is. But to my camera, um, it's really bright. So that's something really fun, something to keep in mind. Um, so now, oh, that's what I want to do, is I want to add in this thing, which usually I use something else to create like a shadow. Like I just got this, so it's really great. It's exactly what I need. And what I'm going to do is just kind of maybe put it right there. And it's just helping block out and guiding the light from here, just a little stream, just highlighting like right here. This is what I want to highlight. This is what I want my camera to pick up. And as you can see, putting that little thing there, it did make a difference. Like I said, sorry I keep having to fight with my tripod for this thing to not move. It's the worst. But look at the difference between like me lifting it up and me putting this pot here. It just instantly does help guide it. All right, so this is it. This is like the moment that I'm going to start shooting. Ask me any. But at this point, like, I've set up my scene. I've explained as much as I can. So for right now, I just take the photos. And we're just gonna see. I'm gonna lighten this up just a smidge now that I can see better. I'm not fighting with my phone. And that is nice, but it's a little too bright. So I am going to lower my I forget all the words for it right now. The 150. So right now I'm shooting at 150, and I'm going to raise my f-stop to 4.5. And a little brief run is when you raise up your f-stops, you're being able to see more of the photo, but you're going to have to increase the brightness because you're soaking in more detail. It needs a little bit more light, and that's when I'm lowering the aperture. That's what it's called. I never talk about this with anybody, so I never have to like know the words. I just kind of know what to do. So I'm just gonna, as you can see, like I'm just slowly making little adjustments between each picture, looking between each picture, seeing like what it's doing, what I need to change. You can see me constantly, I mean, the entire time I'm shooting, I'm messing with curtains, I'm messing with this, just trying to get the lighting be exactly where I need it to be. So I just moved, and I'm wondering if I can't even, there's no better angle for this. Not really. But I did move the milk over, and I'll show you kind of like what we're looking at right now. And as you can see, like, this is getting just that whole ray of light all through here, working with triangles, keeping things off out of the center unless it's the main focus. Just working all together. Okay, what time is it? So we have about 15 minutes. And yeah. So this like little plate here, it is the cinnamon roll on it kind of looks sad, and it should. It's a sad cinnamon roll, I'll be honest with you. Cooking it in that ramekin, it was like too much heat or something. I don't know. It just was not happy. So I'm gonna just kind of try putting more glaze on this and just really accenting it. Here, my hand covered in gunk. And just, I can't tell if that helps or not. At some point when I am shooting this, sometimes I'll just start fresh, like wash the dishes and just get all glaze and gunk off. Because you don't know until you try, and then sometimes you try and it just actually ends up pretty badly. And I'm wondering if maybe this isn't that situation. So that was nice. We're going to raise up this. and just focus. I'm actually going to see, so one of the issues I'm having here is that the rim of the baking thing is kind of creating like a shadow. So I'm going to take my extra cloth that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to prop it underneath, and I'll show you what I did here. So as you can see, like, it's propped up underneath, which is creating, let me take a photo, and then I'll show you the before and afters. So taking this photo, sorry, I'm trying to get the right angle on it. So by just propping it up like here, like this is what it looks like now versus before. So this way it just looks a little more focused. You could see where I'm trying to guide your eye to, especially with that light beam. I'm really happy with that light beam. You know, I want it to be super dramatic and kind of like edgy, I guess. High contrast. Um, so that's good. I'm happy I did that. And I'm almost wondering if I don't have to do that. Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing that with the other little lone cinnamon roll that I'm kind of hating on today. So I didn't grab these when I was downstairs, but I keep these upstairs at all times. They are my coasters. They're really pretty in photos, but they're also just a really nice height. Like you can see, I think this is supposed to be an inch. I don't know, maybe a quarter inch, half an inch, tall. And I like to add height. I like them to add like a when I need to do like a little bit of tilting, like I'm going to be doing right now. They're just a really nice multi-purpose tool, and that's partly why I'm so obsessed with coasters and using them in my photography. Because if you sometimes you need like a little bump up, and this helps. Yeah, and that does help. That did help a lot. So I'm gonna kind of actually take my cloth. So now that I've angled this up, you can see more of the like burnt gunk inside the pan, which is natural, and you know this happens. So I'm just gonna take my cloth and just kind of clean it up. When I am in post processing, I will clean up all the extra little toasty tidbits and stuff that's like not so insta perfect. Uh, but you want to try to take away as much as you can, so it does, you know, the less work you have to do when you're in Lightroom and Photoshop, the better, because it looks more natural because it's, you know, you're not editing it. Um, so I did do that. Oh, this is turning out so pretty. Okay, I am going to show you guys now what these little differences have made, and try to see. And I know I keep saying it, but like, so this is what it looks like if you were my camera, and this is what it looks like on my camera. So you can just see like the difference that the tilt made. Everything looks a little bit more focused. It's really being drawn into the center and just really to the cinnamon rolls. By this point, I feel like the cinnamon rolls have kind of absorbed that liquid, so I'm going to add a little bit more and see. I'm happy I added Oreo crumbs into this because a lot of the Oreo recipes I'm looking at for this, they didn't have Oreo crumbs in the glaze, and it is definitely creating like a less of a contrast, which is, I know I said I wanted like a high contrast photo, but I don't want the glaze to be fighting with the cinnamon rolls. Like I want to be selling cinnamon rolls, not, you know, not cinnamon rolls and glaze, whatever. So I'm happy that I did add those. It is creating a nice contrast and just really setting that Oreo vibe. To get some crunchies. Notice here though, and this was something I was considering the idea of, but now that I'm working here, I'm not adding Oreo crumbs along the edge of this right now. I'm trying to keep the backdrop clean. And it is kind of helping create that like elegant, high contrast mood. A lot of times when you add crumbs or just like ingredients to the side, it makes it messy. And you know, it turns out really nice. Like I did it for my photo yesterday. It turned out beautiful. But that's something like I like to do after I take these really clean photos. So that way I have a clean photo and then I can move along and see like if I need to change something. So right now I'm just playing with the different, I'm gonna move this over so you can still see a peak. Still see a peak. But at this moment now, actually, I am needing something in this corner. Something bright. I might actually add this into the corner. Let's see how that works. It's tall. Okay, so I have just the peak. So as you can see here, this is actually, it did look nice. Um, this is like precariously positioned. This is, this plate is so funny. You know, it's barely holding this milk cup. It's holding my light blocker thing. I'm just getting a little look into how this is actually set up. Because this is, you know, I'm talking about tilting. I should have showed you this earlier. Um, I have this cloth here, so it's truly, I mean, it's tilted quite a bit. Um, I have this here. This is actually, I don't think this is doing much, but I just have it there. And then there's this, which I have this under here. And like it is also tilted, but not so much. Um, I don't need it to have a dramatic tilt because it's not the center, it's not the object. But by adding in that little cup, it did help create like a little vibe right here that I feel like I just was almost missing before. You know, like this was just, it's like there's something dark there, but it just wasn't creating, it's probably the parallels. So in this, you can see parallel cup, parallel cinnamon roll. But it's also nice because you have the contrast of the dark plate here and the light plate here. So it is, your eyes do like it. But they like symmetry as well. And that's why having the two cups here is probably why it's so nice. And all these little tricks, you know, like I have studied food photography a whole bunch. I spent many hours watching YouTube videos and reading books, and of course practicing. Um, but really, just the more you practice, the more your eye just tells you something's off, and you just kind of build and build and build until the picture's perfect. You know, sometimes when I do photo shoots, I'll have like 200 photos and end up with maybe two that I like because I'm just constantly moving things along and trying to find what's the best picture, you know, what's the best props, what's the right angle. And sometimes at the end of the day, the pictures with no props are actually the best props. Especially when it comes to macarons, those beauties can just be photographed all on their own. I love shooting macarons so much. I have to not make them so often because it's the only thing I want to photograph lately because they're just so easy. Like you don't there's so minimal effort. And I think actually I will do a live and show you some of my favorite macaron setups as well. Because a lot of people here make them. But I do want to do cinnamon rolls because cinnamon rolls seem to be all the rage right now, which is also why I wanted to have them up on the website. Because I know, you know, Mother's Day is coming up, Easter's coming up, and you're going to want to sell cinnamon rolls, and you should have some nice photography for it. And I'm a firm believer that Oreos make everything better. So smear this around here. And all right. So as you can see, I opened up the shade, and by opening up the shade, I do have to change my aperture so it's a little darker here. And now I'm going to be using actually my bounce board. And I'm going to show you what this did in terms of the lighting. But it's still quite a dark and moody photo, but I like to experiment, you know? So I'll show you. And then after this photo, I'm going to move on to doing a quick setup of a side view, which is my favorite way. I almost always shoot side view. It's a little harder with cinnamon rolls because cinnamon rolls are like a top-down kind of dessert. But I do want to show you guys how to do that pouring shot because it's chef's kiss, you know? You get a pouring shot, it's beautiful. So I did move this over here, and it is creating this much lighter picture. It's definitely not as high contrast Um, but I do just want to have a couple of those photos because a lot of times when you're shooting, you don't realize that sorry, you don't realize what it looks like until it's on your computer, which is why I would love, I know I keep bringing up tethering, I love to see it on my computer, but because it does make a huge difference trying to look at that little screen, and as you can see, like, I'm on my very, very tippy toes. Sometimes I pull a stool over there so I can actually see better. I don't know why I didn't actually. Perhaps I should get a stool. But yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get a stool. That was, thanks everyone. That was convincing I needed because it is hard to see that little blip. So I usually have a stool right over there, but my daughter has learned that she can use the stool to like get to things. So my stool has moved. Okay, so I'm gonna just be using my donut stool. Oh my gosh, what a life changer. Okay, so I am gonna take a couple quick photos this way. And really, I like the setup. I'm not gonna be changing much about the setup. I don't think I'm gonna be changing the lighting because I do like it, and I will show you. Sorry, it's not flipping. Okay, so as you can see, half of my shades are drawn. Um, the other half are open. And this is, I do have my diffuser light here. Actually, I'll be making this all diffused because it was a little bright and it does take down a little bit. Oh, sorry. It says take down a little bit of the brightness. And as for my setup right here, you can get another look of like, here's my foam board on top of the chair, just blocking out the extra light, creating a little bit of shadows. When I do pictures that are like just straight black with like I did these galaxy macarons. I took this photo and I had foam board almost like I mean I had it literally like, you know what? I think we'll take a photo like that too. Because it does help. Like the closer you can get these boards to that, all these little things, all these little lighting tricks is what's going to make a huge difference in your photos. So when you're scrolling on Instagram and you see these people's photos and you're like, why can't my photos look like that? You know, especially people with iPhones. Like, a lot of times you'll see like, oh, I shot this on their iPhone, and I do it too. Because when I'm shooting on my iPhone, I'm not doing this. I'm not creating a setup because I'm not in the mindset to do it. So when people are saying like I shoot this on my phones, a lot of times like the food photographers that say that, they're doing stuff like this. They're just not telling you. They're telling you, oh, I'm so talented. Maybe that's me. Maybe it's just my beef. But like it is these little tricks of just moving like this foam board, just moving this an inch, moving like whatever you have to do. It's making a huge difference to your camera that maybe you don't notice. And it's these little things that it really does make a huge impact on what your picture looks like, how easy is it going to be to edit it, all this stuff. So I don't know quite what happened here, but suddenly now my picture looks, I guess because I actually moved this. Suddenly it looks less zoomed in, which I guess is good. I want more picture. So just playing with the lighting, and now we're gonna see what we can get here that looks good. I actually don't like this. Okay, and we're just gonna move this a little bit over, and just get this. Huh. Huh. Okay, that's my sign. I'm gonna be switching to a side view and show you quickly how I set that up because it is 2:30. I told myself I'd be done in an hour. Because I mean I could just do this 4 hours and I do it. But we all have lives to live. So I'm gonna move this and I'm gonna just open up the shades because I like to see things. And take my camera off of here because I shouldn't be messing with my tripod with my camera on it. And just making this right now as small as I can. That way hello. That way I'm setting it up, just starting over. So I'm almost going to be starting fresh with this. Like I'm gonna kind of take everything off the table. I'm gonna move you a little bit so you can see better exactly what I'm doing. So just kind of moving. I am going to keep, so I really liked the way that the cloth created like that view in. So I am going to take this off, but I'm going to be shooting cinnamon rolls, and this thing is like this little guy. I don't love him. I don't want him to be my center shot. So I will end up taking out some of these cinnamon rolls. But I'm just not quite ready to do that yet. So I'm gonna redo this and kind of see like what I can, what it looks like, and then we'll assess. So as you can see, I'm kind of trying to layer things. And I don't know if I can zoom in on oh my gosh, I can. That probably doesn't help though. So I'll show you guys in a moment, after I'm done creating like a quick setup of just like me creating these layers. So when I'm looking this way, you can see, and now that I have like a very, very basic setup, I'm gonna set up my tripod, which of course I hate. Close all these. Okay, that's better. And I do change whether or not I shoot horizontally or vertically, like halfway through the shoots. But for right now, I'm gonna be shooting vertically. It's easiest for me to just shoot vertically. And I do use it the most. You know, Instagram is vertical. Most of the Facebook posts are vertical. Mostly I do everything that because I'm, we're really marketing to social media. For my Square website, for my home bakery, Sprinkles of Sylvia, does like square it likes horizontal photos. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, we'll try one of these. So I do try taking a couple for my Square website as well. It likes horizontal photos, but it also doesn't have an issue with vertical. You just have to convert the size a little bit. So I'm gonna just see what we can do here. And I'll show you guys what this looks like in 1 second. Okay. Oh, that is. So this thing, like, I love to use in anything just tall and black, not really for the picture, but to create a shadow. So as you can see, I put it right here in the glass of milk. And by showing it in the glass of milk, it's darkening it. So it's not competing with the rest of the picture, but it is in the background. You can kind of get the vibe that there's some milk there. But it's not, it's not like having an issue. So I'm going to wipe voice on the skunk. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like. So, so as you can see here, this is the main setup. And this is what it looks like for my camera. So, it does look quite different on my camera. And this is kind of what we have going on in terms of layers. So, getting down underneath, you can see that like for this little guy right here, which is blurred out, like you can see there's a cinnamon roll, but he's not really like, he's just kind of creating cinnamon roll vibes. See, like this is layered, so it's up there, so it's still in the, like almost taller than this, but it's not, whatever. This this is comically high. I mean, look at that. That's so much height. It's like my whole hand height high, just propped up with my coaster and then that rag. Um, and then as for this, you can see it's on a coaster. Okay, so I have different layers of things, which all come together to help this. You can see the Milk's coaster over there in this photo, but I actually don't mind. It's not competing with it. So, we'll see. See all the cinnamon roll stuff. So Facebook is having a hard time, or not Facebook. So my phone camera's having a hard time focusing on this camera. So I am going to though set this up just to create that depth. I'm gonna put you back on. I'm gonna put you back on here. Just to once again stop the light. I don't always do this when I'm shooting, and especially with the light and airy photos. I don't often put up this thing, but it is a bright one today, and it does help. Oh yeah, that made a huge difference. Just creating that side light. And we're gonna see, I want this focused a little bit more on the center. So I didn't put glaze on the back end of that because I want to set up my scene first before I did. And this thing it's already starting to get kind of angry with me. But because I did add that extra water, and I did, I'm already halfway through my glaze just putting this on here. So I am happy I made double. I'm happy I made it during this because it's starting. So I'm just gonna put some fresh glaze there, just a little teeniest amounts. I don't want it to be smothered because I do want to see the details of the cinnamon rolls. But because I added the extra liquid into the glaze, it is falling into those little crevices nicely. Wipe off my hand. Wipe off my camera screen a little bit. And we'll see that did help. I do need I need to erase this a bit. We'll see. Oh, yeah, that is so pretty. Okay. That made a huge difference, just raising it up that little bit. I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't, So I don't want to raise it up too much, and there's two reasons why. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. So I don't want to raise it up too much, and there's two reasons. One, I don't want, oof, sorry. I don't want it to be really shown in the picture just how much I've like propped this up, because it is unnatural, and the whole point of this photography is to make it look natural. But there's also, I don't want to raise it up because there's this angle, and I don't know what the angle is. Like I don't know the name of it. I don't know what it is, but I just call it like the, oh, I don't know. I don't have a good name for it. Amateur angle, and it's almost the angle on which you just naturally are standing up at the table and just take a picture of the food. Like I can see every time someone does that, I can instantly tell. And I mean, I guess it would just be like if I just took the angle like this, and it's not flattering. Then if you just move it a little bit, like see the difference if I went like this, and I just move it. I don't know if my phone's actually picking it up, but I can definitely tell, especially through my camera. So I don't want to raise the tripod up too much because it actually will create that angle that I don't like. Okay, so I'm about happy with this photo. I guess it's a little harder to do this over Facebook, to have my photo session because usually I'm a little more not talking. But I think this is good enough to the point. Actually, I'll lower this. But I think this is good enough to the point where I do want to show you me pouring the glaze. Because I want to just kind of talk about the camera settings for that, which I know I said I'm not really going to talk about camera settings, but it is something that was really hard for me to figure out, and no one would give me a straight answer online. So I do want to talk about that. Sorry for my kitchen. You can see it. See all the pictures of my daughter. So I'm going to grab my black plate, and I'm going to be grabbing a fork. And I'm actually, the middle cinnamon roll was the prettiest when I put it in, and it's still the prettiest. So I'm just going to try to take this out without disturbing the structure too much, because I will still be showing this pan, but it's going to be like a back view pan, you know, it's not going to be the center. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to put this ugly thing in the center. And like I said, I never serve my product photos to people other than me and my family, because I do, this is mild, but usually like I can be quite abusive to the food, and just handling it. I'm pouring stuff and like like especially with the brownies. A lot of times to show the fudginess, if you press your thumb into it, it shows the fudginess better. And you know, I'll microwave them and all this stuff, and just put the food through the ringer. But these actually have been pretty mild today. So, all right, I have some cinnamon rolls out, and I'm just gonna kind of see, like, okay, oh, that looks good. Okay, so I have the cinnamon rolls out. We're gonna go back to our here, our scene. Move this, and now I'm gonna have to set this up for a different thing, but it'll be quick. So, hold on 1 second. Okay. So to get this, I'm gonna set up and I'll show you guys. I wish, I totally knew that was gonna happen. I hit it and I watched it. Oh, this is really pretty though. So now, just not even, I don't even want that pan actually in this photo, because it's so white. I think it might compete with this. Same with this coaster. I wish I had a black coaster, but I don't. And I'm like looking around to see like what can I use instead. I do have this thing I brought up. It might be a little much though for this. No, it worked. That looks, maybe it didn't work actually. And then just gently, like almost nonchalantly throwing this over. Like I said, I don't want the, like I said at the very beginning, I don't want the cloth to really be touching the plate much. I just want to kind of fold it around and just see how this is going. Move this. Okay. We're getting there. This is just not turning out how I want to. There we go. That way it's at an angle. And then the last thing I want to do is actually pour it, you know, because it's going to look nice in the photo. It always does. And it doesn't need to be, sometimes if I have to, I'll heat it up. It doesn't seem to be needed to be heating up right now, but I don't know. I want to make sure though before I pour it, because you only get one shot, you know, when you pour it. Like, it has to be good. Um, so I want to try making this. Sorry, I'm like right in the middle of this. I'm right in the way. But okay, I'm going to show you guys what I did. So this is what my camera is seeing, and it's really not this bright. It's really not this bright on my camera, but just because I'm showing you through my phone, it is. But coming down to the scene, like you have nonchalantly placed kitchen towel, cinnamon rolls in the background, milk on that stand, and then I just have like this, just really trying to show the light. You know, like I really want the light just to be guided right there, so it's a beacon of cinnamon roll. And so a lot of this, as you can see in the camera, and it's kind of almost throwing me off, that these aren't so dark. Like just the background isn't dark enough for me. Like I want these to be so black. But when I take it into Photoshop or Lightroom, actually, I'll just be decreasing the blacks. So I will make this look edgier than it does look right now. I'm going to clean up this plate. I didn't realize how gross it looked. And to clean it up, I mean, it's so easy. I'm just taking a wet paper towel and just, you know, just clean it up. So it's no big deal. I'm getting crumbs all over my floor from it, but that's okay. Just clean it up to look nice. I've seen, like, I know some people, they have tweezers when they shoot to place crumbs. You know what? Maybe we will break out some crumbs here just to see if it can't give us a good vibe. So I already just had beforehand, like, I have pureed and I have chopped crumbs. Oh, so maybe I'll just put a couple here just to kind of fill in some of that blank space. That might be, yeah, that was great actually. It's exactly what I'm missing. So I think if I was doing the flat lay, it would have looked messy because it would have just looked like kind of crumbs on the floor. But because this is a side view, the crumbs are adding a dimension, and I can almost use them to guide the eye towards it. So that's what I'm doing, just throwing a couple crumbs here off to the side, shake some crumbs on the floor, and we'll see how that looks. Okay. A lot of times with my camera as well, I've noticed with this lens, I actually have to adjust the exposure, especially when I'm shooting it sideways. I don't know why this lens just makes me do that. So I did adjust the exposure on my lens to be darker. And it's killing me. For some reason, this milk looks like bizarrely yellow on my camera. And I'll fix it in Lightroom, but it's annoying. And okay. So I have everything set. You know why these keep falling? It's so windy outside. And I have all the rest of my windows open for this. But I don't feel like closing up. So to pour this, I'm actually going to take my camera settings and turn it to we'll try 320. So when I do pour things, before I do it, I actually drop a cloth because, like I said, you only get one shot. Doing this, so I'm going to set my release mode to continuous. So when it's in continuous mode, you hold down the shutter and it takes, I have it set, I think, to taking, I should double check that, 9 photos, I believe. You could change in your camera settings. But it just takes pictures as long as you hold it down. And so you want to make it so that your shutter closes faster. And just, as you can see, I'm gonna move this guy so you can see kind of more of like me just dropping the cloth, because I know that's exactly what you want to spend your time, is watching me drop a napkin over and over again. But here's what I'm doing. And this is like almost, okay. And I just look at my camera, and I can show you through here. It takes a while to second it, but like, and you could see, like, even just watching it crumple, that I do have this set fast enough. I do have it set fast enough. So I think I'll be okay to do this. And I actually, I'd love to hold the phone while I do it, but there's no possible way. I'm going to add more cinnamon rolls to it. Oh, does that make you guys feel sick when I do that? It probably does. But that's how the photo turned out. So it looks nice. I need to add a little bit something more. So I'm going to add actually some of these cinnamon rolls into this bowl and put this in the back there and see. No, that's creating a weird vibe because it's so dark. How's that doing? It's not so dark. It's like so brown that it's weird. But how do I feel about the bowl being there? So the reason why I keep saying is you have one shot is like this is already so covered in glaze. I'm actually gonna, I think I'm gonna switch this out with this bad boy because it is covered in glaze, and when you're taking a photo, you're like, well, why is it like that? So this is probably okay. Sometimes I clean off the plate. I'm not gonna do that now, and I'll just see on the camera like the way that the swirls are. I want the sun flowing into the swirls, so you can kind of just move it. And then I'm still having an issue with the rolls like being weird in this bowl. And this bowl being weird back here. I do kind of like having something behind the glass though. But it's weird. It's weird, we don't like it. Alright, and I'm gonna grab another cinnamon roll and maybe see like how does it look when I do that? It's weird. What if I add this here? I do like adding it there. That's nice. Yeah. Okay. I like that. So the way that this did help is because I'm gonna try getting it to show you a little bit easier on my camera, is that this is creating like a height here. And same with the cup. That's why I have the cup there. I have the cup on a little plate, so it's creating extra height compared to the cinnamon roll. But it is just kind of making you feel it's making you feel more immersed in the cinnamon roll, you know, because like there's height going on over here, and there's height here, and you're just like, you're really like, you're into the cinnamon roll. So that's good. Okay, so I'm going to try pouring this shot again and just kind of seeing. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice little angle. Okay. So double check my camera settings again before I do this. That's nice, but this plate is actually just, it's a little too much for me. I'm gonna wipe it off. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I am about to pour cinnamon roll all over it, but it does have to be a little cleaner. Okay. And see, as you can see, I'm just moving the cinnamon roll all about, trying to find the right angle for this. And I think the issue is that the cinnamon roll is not downward enough for me. Like I feel like I can't see it, so I do want to add something. Maybe this tissue will help. And just face it, just prop it up a little bit more. Oh no, you can see the tissue. Sometimes, oh, you know what would be really great? And this is the fun little part about food photography, is that like, to do this stuff, I'm gonna go over here and I have a cookie. And I'm just gonna use this cookie. There you go. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. So this cookie's actually from these pistachio cookies I made yesterday that I'm gonna upload free to Peachy Kitten's website, that you guys can just have the photos. You can have photos and have the recipe and just use it for St. Patrick's Day if you want. Totally free. Because the cookies are from King Arthur. They're King Arthur's recipes, and they're just super crunchy. They're Oreo pistachio. They're salty. They're sweet. But the pictures came out really pretty as well. So check the settings one more time, and there we go. Okay, so mid glaze. Now I'm taking it, and we'll see how that turned out for us. And I think that might be it. I think we actually got our final photo. Okay, the anticipation. Oh yeah, see, that's pretty. Oh god, I did not realize how gunky my plate was though. But that's good enough. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with pictures. I'm gonna clean it up. Editing it will be a private situation. I might make a video and post it to Peachy Kitten's Instagram, and you can like see it on there, you know. We'll see. I'm not gonna edit these till later because it's really pretty outside, so I'm gonna go to the park or something. I don't know. But if you have any questions about anything, DSLR, setting it up, lighting, props, anything, just feel free to message me or comment on this, and I will definitely help you. You know, I want to help as much as I can because food photography is just, it's so fun. I absolutely love it. That's why I started, you know, I went from being a home baker to a food photographer because it's so much more fun to me than, you know, I mean, I love baking. I love both. So, anyways, any questions, please reach out to me. I'm here to help. And that's it. All right, have a good day.